Let's talk about the chords you need to know to play jazz. The most important thing to understand is that jazz primarily uses seventh chords of different varieties. This is in sharp contrast to a lot of rock and pop music, which tends to stick with the basic triads. The usage of seventh chords, along with various extensions, which we'll discuss shortly, is what accounts for the rich and sophisticated sound of jazz. Triads are three-note chords, as opposed to seventh chords, which are four-note chords. If we look at a G major triad, for example, we get the notes G, B, and D, or root, major third, and fifth. A G major seventh chord, on the other hand, consists of G, B, D, and F sharp. The major triad is incorporated in the chord, but the major seventh degree is added, yielding a fuller and more complex sound. Take a listen here to the following 8-bar chord progression. The first time through, I'll play the chords as basic triads. The second time through, I'll play the chords as seventh chords. Compare the change of richness and sound between the two examples. So, there are 5 basic seventh chords which you need to know. These are the major seventh, the dominant seventh, the minor seventh, the half-diminished seventh, and the fully diminished seventh. These are the chords that you'll find in all sorts of jazz standards, so they're really essential to know. Let's take a look at each of these, starting on a G root note. G major seventh is G, B, D, and F sharp. So, as we said, it's a G major triad with the addition of the major seventh. G dominant seventh is G, B, D, and F natural. So you can see the same G major triad here, however, with the addition of the flatted seventh, or F. G minor seventh is G, B flat, D, and F natural. In this case, we have a G minor triad with the addition of the flat seventh. G half diminished seventh is G, B flat, D flat, and F. Now, here we have a G diminished triad, G, B flat, and D flat as the basis of the chord, with the addition of the flatted seventh. And finally, G diminished seventh, or G fully diminished, is G, B flat, D flat, and E. The E here is basically like a double flatted seventh. So one way to think of these chords is as some kind of basic triad, either major, minor, or diminished, with the addition of some kind of seventh degree.